Very good evening, everyone. This is Rajendran here, joining from Market Calls, and welcome everyone to Algo Trading Workshop. Building trading strategies in Python. We are in the part 4 of the training session here. So, in today's session, I thought we'll explore something very interesting. If you remember, in the previous session, we looked into the portfolio Greeks. We had built the portfolio Greeks using the OpenAlgo API. Now, what is so different that we're going to do in this specific session is we're going to learn about what is MCP server and how to implement MCP server in Python. So recently, if you would have heard, Zerodha would have implemented, so Zerodha, I think MCP server, they had implemented MCP server around the 20th May 2025. And it also went viral as well. So a lot many people talked about that, done, dusted, all those things are there. So how we can build an MCP server, right? What kind of MCP server that you can access in OpenAlgo, and how it is so different from Zerodha's MCP server, right? So this is a Zerodha's MCP server. You can see that. So complete code is available there. And the same MCP server, is it something that's similar? Are we gonna build? If you ask me, of course not. This is something like this MCP server. If you see that, they had built using Go application, right? So they had used an SSE is what they had used over here. So SSE is like something similar to WebSockets. So SSE is like a kind of an server sent events, basically a kind of an real-time streaming, very similar to WebSocket technology, right? Now I'm not going to go detail into that, but today we're going to do an MCP server, right, which will enable you to connect with your AI application, like Claude kind of application. You can connect with the LLM and you can able to chat with your own trading account. So now this one here, this MCP server over here, the Kite MCP, whatever they are having is like they have a very limited functionality. Means you can access your order book, trade book, position book from your Claude code, but you will not be able to place orders, right? So that is some limitations are there. So they are, as of now, they are not allowing at this point in time. So what exactly is MCP server, and how in OpenAlgo we had implemented? First, that's what we're going to talk about that. But once we are done with that, we'll also learn how to develop our own MCP server, right? So first we'll go to MCP server, right? MCP is nothing but Model Context Protocol. This Model Context Protocol is uh, initially it is not initially they are it's done by Anthropic team, right? So this is a Model Context Protocol is like kind of an universal communication across all the LLMs. So what they are analogy, what they are providing is like you think of like an USB C type port for all the AI application. So the USB C type port, right? It's a standardized way to connect your devices to various peripherals and accessories. We've been using USB C type everywhere, right? So we are using in our PC, in our laptop, probably you can find in your chargers, right? So many devices are using as a accessories to connect various peripheral applications. MCP also likewise similar to USB. It is also providing a standardized way to interact with the AI models. So you can use the MCP to interact with Claude Sonnet. You can also interact with ChatGPT API, and we can also interact with any other LLM models. It could be Grok. It could be any applications. But for time being, we can use MCP to interact not only with our trading account, we can also interact with our AMI broker. So I had recently had to build an MCP server for AMI broker in one of my live session. Now, what is MCP server, right? Let me give you an idea about it. I'm going to draw.marketcalls.in. So let's say I'm having an MCP client. So the MCP client is typically something like an AI tool. AI tool. It could be like something like Claude Desktop, or it could be like VS Code, or it could be like Windsurf, cursor, or your own tool, your own you can also convert your web application into an AI tool also. You can make it like a Claude client. I mean, you can make it like an MCP client. MCP client. The MCP client is where the user is going to interact. So this is where the user is going to send some prompt. So the user is going to give some prompt over here. The MCP is the one which is also likely to connect with the LLM models as well. The LLM could be anything. It could be Anthropic, it could be ChatGPT, or it could be anything. LLM models. And the client is the one which is going to interact with the LLM models, basically. And this MCP client is the one which is also connect with the MCP server. MCP server. And this MCP server will be having access to various things. It could be your database, it could be your API access, or it could be even your PDF file or external knowledge. So it could be various things. Right? It could be like, maybe we can say like, in our case, we used OpenAlgo API, or it could be some sort of a Python code, or it could be your database, or it could be some external knowledge, or it could be even your Gmail access, Gmail, or maybe Google spreadsheet. So in very simple term, it could be any external applications. It could be even AMI broker also. Could be any external application. So let me bring Claude Desktop over here. So you can also download Claude Desktop for Windows or Mac. It should be working across the thing. So here you can go and download the Windows application. In my case, I had downloaded the Windows. If you are using an ARM processor, you can download it from here. Maybe if you're a Mac user, you can download it from here. Right now, it is available in a beta state. And then in order to MCPs to work, right, you also have to download the Node.js as well. So you go to Node.js. From here, you have to go and download the latest Node.js version. So you have to go to the Node.js, download the Windows installer, or maybe if you're using a different operating system, you have to download it from here. Download it and then install it. Now, once this installation process is done, right, in the Claude code, let me go to the Claude code over here. So here is my Claude code. You can go to your settings. So from the settings, you have to go to the developer section. From the developer section, you have to edit the configuration. And from the configuration, here you have to enter your MCP server configuration, right? So here I had configured for AMI broker also, I had configured for OpenAlgo also, but I'm going to show you right from the scratch how to configure it. So I'm going to pull up OpenAlgo. So here is my OpenAlgo is running. Inside the OpenAlgo, the latest OpenAlgo I'm talking about, inside the latest OpenAlgo, if you don't have the latest OpenAlgo, you can go to your application and then do a git pull. That should be downloading the latest OpenAlgo, if you don't have. Right, so here under the MCP folder, we have this MCP server.py. This is where the MCP server is gonna be running. You don't need to run anyway, but it will be still the Python file is likely to be there. And if you scroll to the bottom, so you'll be finding that the media is like stdio, right? So the MCP either uses stdio or SSE. maybe we'll go to Claude and then we'll ask a question saying like, in MCP server, what is STDIO and SSE? Why it is used? Why it is used? So it's kind of in a real-time communication mode. Generally, if you are having remote MCP, if you are using MCP in your server, right? In that case, SSE will be useful. Or if you're going to use locally inside your Windows itself, or maybe in a Mac, if you're going to run, then you can use the STDIO streams, standard input and output streams. So for communicating between the MCP server and client, the communication right now we're going to use STDIO because we're going to try locally. Whereas if you would have seen in Zerodha, they would have implemented using SSE, remote SSE. Recently also, if you could have seen a new chat in Claude Code, if you go to the settings here, you will be finding a lot of connectivity devices. Like you can connect with your Gmail, you can connect with your Drive, calendar, and not just that, you can add your own connectors. They are nothing but remote SSEs. So you can interact with these many more applications. So these are like ready-made applications from Gmail, Canva, and Google Calendar, Intercom, right? PayPal. Even you can query or you can connect with your PayPal account, and you can even you can even talk to your PayPal account also. Let's say last 3 months, how many billing happened? What are the transactions which happened in my PayPal account? That kind of prompt you'll be able to give, right? Or you can also connect with various applications, or you can also add your own connectors as well. So maybe if you are having your own server and you are having your own SSE, right? You can also add your own connector as well. So you can add a connector, and let's say like maybe manage connectors. Here I'll be able to connect. I can add a custom connector and I can put a remote MCP server URL. This is not local SSE. I mean, this can be local SSE also, but this should be SSE, right? Server sent event. But as I said, if you are going to interact only within your local application itself, you're not interact with any other server, external server. Even your OpenAlgo is also hosted locally. Then we can use the STDIO method itself. We don't need to go for an SSE method, right? So are we clear up to this point, like what we are going to build right now? So we're going to use MCP and we're going to use STDIO to build. Building now this entire line of code, again, none of the code has been built manually. Everything has been built using Claude only, right? So Claude is really expert in building MCPs. So you have to just tell a context what exactly you want, and you can bend the way you want. Like you can build the MCP servers the way you want. Maybe I can give a demo out of it. First, let me show you the configuration, how to do the configuration. The configuration file, what I had opened over here, this is from Claude desktop config.json. This configuration, you will be finding like command arguments, right? In the commands, what I need to fill is like where my Python exe file is there, right? So mostly you can find it inside your virtual environment. So go to your virtual environment. From here, you can go to, I think, scripts. From here, you can scroll down to python.exe, right click, and then you can go and copy the path. You can go and paste it over here. So you can paste it. But remember, when you're pasting it, this is a JSON format. So any string that we are giving over here, we have to add something called escape sequence. Every backslash should be followed by a double backslash, right? So ensure that wherever there's a backslash is there, you ensure that you are adding in another backslash. That is called escape sequence. Maybe if you're a programmer, you know what an escape sequence is all about. If you are not a programmer, try to understand what an escape sequence. Just Google it, you will get to know, right? And under the arguments, I have to tell where my MCP server Python code is running. And I'm also pointing to my MCP server. So here is my MCP, right? So MCP server, right click and then go and copy the path, do the same thing and add double slash over here. Now, once this is done, the next one is like adding the OpenAlgo API key and where your OpenAlgo application is running. Now, let me tell you this thing, you can run it locally, even if your OpenAlgo is hosted anywhere in the planet also. That is still possible. You can run OpenAlgo locally also. You can connect with OpenAlgo even if it is running somewhere outside the internet. I mean, somewhere outside maybe it's running in some servers. So I'm going to run OpenAlgo here. UV run app.py. So OpenAlgo is running on port 5000. Let me click on that. Login. I'll enter my credentials. Connect. And then I'm going to connect with my trading account. And then we will be connecting with I need a TOTP, right? So I'm going to go to my authenticator and I'll get my TOTP. So once I connected, right? Now what I need to do is like I may have to restart my Claude code. So the master contract is getting downloaded. Let it download. So once the download is done, we are good to interact with our Claude code. So let me go to Claude code. So here is my Claude code, right? I'll go to the new chat. So maybe if you already configured it, you may have to restart the Claude code, right? So one problem with the Claude code, what I had seen is like, even let's say I'm closing it, it will not be closing it properly. I don't know, maybe still it is in beta, it's not properly closing. You can find like the Claude is still there. So I have to ensure that right click on the end task, it goes away. And then you launch Claude code fresh. This is one challenge I had seen that. So once your Claude code is restarted properly, right, you will be able to find under this search and tool section, you'll be able to find OpenAlgo, right? Under OpenAlgo, you can find 24 different functions. All our place order function, place smart order, split order, modify order, cancel all orders. So whatever the API functionalities, for example, you go to docs.openalgo.in, all the functionalities, all these funds, order book, trade book, position book, holdings, and order API, place smart order, split order, and even data API, codes, depth, history, interval, symbol, search, expiry, ticker. So it completely understands all the OpenAlgo API functions, which means I can simply ask, let's say for time being, what I'll do, I'll keep only OpenAlgo enabled, ensure that OpenAlgo is enabled, and IME broker probably for time being I'll disable it, right? So I'm going to say like, get me the, I'll say like, get me the funds. The moment if I say funds, now what will happen is I'm querying using a simple prompt, right? So what the expectation here is like, it should be interacting the funds from my account. You see that it's triggering and get funds tools. Now these tools are coded inside MCP server. See that it's able to get my available cash. It's just like 775 rupees. Probably if you go and check my account, it is like 775.24, right? Now, what is getting triggered? This is what we call it as a tools. And these tools are nothing but part of the Python code itself. If you go to the MCP server code, you can find a tool called get funds. Get underscore funds probably. Yeah. So this is the one. So get funds, oh, it's calling the client.funds, which is part of our Python SDK, which will render the funds details and that will be sent back to our MCP client. So maybe in a simple terms, what is happening here is, let's say we'll go to our draw.marketcalls.in. So inside MCP server, what we are having, we have multiple tools. So we have like tools. So this tool can be anything. It could be fundamentally it's a simple Python code only. This tool can interact with your database, or it can have multiple tools as such. You can have as many tools. It can interact with the web, it can search from the internet, or it can search from the database. Practically, it could be anything, right? But fundamentally, these are like it's a simple Python file. So MCP server.py. It could be a Python application, Go application, Node.js application, doesn't matter. But end of the day, it's going to have some sort of tools which is going to interact with the external world. So it can be an API, it can be a database, it can be Gmail APIs or external application like AMI Broker. It could be something, right? It could be something. And based upon what the user is going to query, the MCP client, it knows that an MCP server has been attached. Your MCP client can be connected with multiple MCP servers also. So one MCP server could be like OpenAlgo MCP server. Let's say this is like OpenAlgo MCP server. You can also have, at the same time, you can also have one more MCP server also. Let's say like you are having AMI Broker MCP server, AMI Broker MCP. Or you can have another MCP which can interact with the Google search. So practically the amount of MCPs you can use is like endless. Now, this will simplify your the knowledge which the LLM model doesn't has, like it doesn't know anything about OpenAlgo APIs. Now it has a pretty good idea about it. It can interact with your OpenAlgo. Now let's say I'm going to ask like, can you get the codes of Reliance? I can just simply ask. I can also ask like, can you get the codes of, let's say, Reliance, and maybe I can say like Wipro, BHEL. Like I can ask multiple queries also. You can see that it's able to get the open, high, low, close, all those things. It's happening or getting over from here. You can see that sometimes it is getting stuck because it's trying to do some get codes, and sometimes it is getting stuck. But most of the time it is reliable in terms of getting the results. Maybe I'll ask a different question over here. I can ask something like, maybe I'll try one more time. Let's see if it happens. If it happens, it's trying to get the codes of Reliance. It says like Claude response was interrupted. This was caused by network programs are exceeding the maximum conversation length. Okay, maybe some length it is getting triggered. Maybe I have to see why exactly it is not happening. Maybe I'll try with some other context. Most likely, at times, it will be trying to loop through that. It doesn't matter. I'm going to ask like, can you get the historical data of Reliance for the last five? I'm going to say like for last 10 days. I'll try to get. Oh, come on. I messed up. That's not the context here. I just want to get only for Reliance only. Only for Reliance. Reliance for the last 10 days. So it's calling the historical API. So where it goes is like it try to fetch the historical API. It knows today's data, and it also knows the 10 days back data. So this query is framed by LLM itself, and then it is getting me the last 10 days of data in a table format. It is what it's trying to get over here. Maybe I can also ask in a table format as well. So provide in a table format. And I can also ask for a symbol like, let's say, what is the Nifty future symbol for current expiry? I can ask something like this. So it has 24 tools. The LLM models choose which tool to select based upon the query. So first it is trying to get the expiry dates. You can see that there is an expiry date function recently we had added. So using that, it's guessing that you have to send Nifty, exchange is NFO. It has the knowledge about all the exchanges. It knows NSE, NFO, BSE, BFO, MCX, and all those knowledges are there in the MCP itself. So it knows how to pass the data. What are the possibilities of what kind of data that we have to pass, futures, options, all those details it has in this context. So from there, it is able to extract the symbol. So from here, if I'm going to quote it, it's going to give me the complete symbols. So from here, it is getting the expiry dates. And from the expiry date, it is trying to check. It's saying like it's guessing it, first of all. It doesn't know what symbol it is, so it just randomly it is guessing. But to get the exact symbol, what it's also doing is like it understand that it also connected to a search instrument. It is checking whether it is having access to this instrument or not. It's checking with Nifty July future. It is searching with a query, and exchange NFO is what it is passing, and the response what we got is like a lot of symbol related to Nifty futures we are getting over here. Mid cap Nifty, Fin Nifty, Bank Nifty, everywhere Nifty July futures also included, which also includes Nifty also. You see that Bank Nifty is coming up, Fin Nifty is coming up, and Nifty is also coming up over here. So from here, it intelligently knows that okay, Nifty is the symbol. It's able to understand the Nifty future symbol over here. So which means like how a human is trying to search. So let's say I'm a human, I'm having access to 24 tools. What a human could do the same way these LLMs are also interacting with the external world, right? Let's say I'm saying like get the Nifty spot price for the exchange, NSE underscore index. So NSE underscore index is the index that we will be providing it for fetching the Nifty spot price. It is going to get me the Nifty spot price. It's filling the NSE exchanges NSE index and symbol as Nifty, and is getting the details. Now from here, I can ask like, can you get the ATM strike price and the combined options premium. So the goal is to, it should figure out the ATM strike price. Premium is what it should get, right? So first it has to figure out the ATM. So from this current price, from this thread, it knows that what is the current price of Nifty. So from here, it is guessing that the ATM strike price should be 25,000. So it is getting the expiry dates for options, and it's checking for the latest expiry, 24 July 25. It's searching for the symbols with the query Nifty 24 July 25, and then 25,000 is what it is checking, because it knows from the previous conversation, it knows that this is the expiry date, and from the expiry date, it's searching for Nifty 25,000. It is not able to found certain things, so again it's trying to query a different symbol over here. Now this time it is able to query with a reasonable accuracy. I think this time it is able to get the lot size, it is able to get the strike price, it is also able to search the corresponding symbol. It's checking whether the symbol is existing in the database or not, right? Then it knows how to frame the call option symbol and put option symbol, right? Then it is getting the code for the call options. It's fetching the call option. It is fetching for the put options also. And then finally, it is getting the ATM call option premium, 25,000 call option premium, 25,000 put option premium. And it is also getting the combined premium as well, right? So now what I can also do is like, I can say like, I want to send orders. Send orders to, I can say like send orders to ATM straddle. Or I can say like, place order in short straddle 150 quantity. I can just specify the quantity, and that should be triggering an order in my trading account. So it should be calling the place order. See that it's trying to place the order 150 quantity, sell, exchange. You can see the pop sound, which means OpenAlgo order is getting triggered over here. It's trying to trigger for one more order also. You can see that two orders got triggered. It's a bit slow so far, but it does the job, right? It does the job flawlessly. It is doing that, which means if I go to OpenAlgo in my order book, it would have punched at the money call option, at the money put option. It is able to punch my punch the trades over here, right? I can also say like take a hedge with the OTM two strike wide with an interval of, let's say, with a strike interval of, with a say, strike interval of 50. Basically, I'm saying like get an 100 strike wide OTM for both CE and PE. So 25,000 call option is the two strike above, and two strike below also we are getting over here. So I'm also punching the hedges also. So which means if I go to OpenAlgo, I should be able to see that 25,100 call option and 24,900 put option, both are OTM options to the at the money, which is getting punched over here, same quantity, 150 quantity, right? So this is something very interesting, right? And what are the capabilities of this? Is like, I would say, like endless capabilities. It's up to you. Now you can get what are the indicators that you want. You can bring it into OpenAlgo. You can build your own technical analysis and assistant. You can able to build. You can build your own research assistant. You can connect with market sentiment, real-time markets, or Twitter sentiment, current Twitter news. You can connect and then you can interact by asking a question. It's not self-autonomous, right? But you always have to go and ask a question. You can also make it self-autonomous, but not via Claude desktop. You have to replace your Claude desktop with some API keys or something like that. Maybe I'll show you later on because we had built another MCP server also, which is slightly different from it, which uses SSE, and that requires OpenAlgo. I mean OpenAI API keys, ChatGPT API keys is what required. So there, if you are able to build an agent, the agent can monitor it for you in real time. But that is like kind of advanced. Um, but this one, right? This one here is completely. This is for pretty much beginners, right? I would say like this is for beginners, where you interact with a chat model, and then the chat model is gonna go and find the information for you, or it's gonna bring the information the way you want. The advanced mode is like you will be having an maybe I can give a little architecture over here, how the advanced agents will be looking like. So you replace MCP client with Claude desktop. Instead of Claude desktop, you replace it with an agent. An agent which will be having access to MCP client, and that MCP client interact with an LLM model using some sort of an API key. In that case, you don't need a user prompt. The agent will be monitoring your markets. The agent will be monitoring the indicators or data connectivity or technical analysis data or even market profile or order flow information. And then it can take an autonomous decision. When certain things are getting triggered, the agent will be triggering it, and that will be monitoring your positions. It will be monitoring your P&L as if like a human. What a human like me, what I'm doing on a daily basis, I'll be watching the certain charts, certain technical indicators, certain patterns. When that pattern is going to trigger, it's going to place an order, right, through the MCP server, because it has access to the tools to interact. It can access your funds, it can access your P&L, it can access everything of it. It can frequently analyze it. You can also give some more tools which is related to your technical analysis tools, let's say super trend. I'm just giving an example. So this agent can monitor, and then it can access whenever, let's say it want to access the tools, it can access the tools, it can access the funds, it can access everything, and then it can take an autonomous decision. I think that is what something that this time we will try to achieve in our quant flow session, right? So I think this is something like we already talked about in our previous session. We talked about how to build an agent, but this time we'll be building an autonomous agent, complete end-to-end autonomous agent using MCP client, right? So MCP client is something which is it not just an I would say like it is not just an simple chatting application that you're going to interact with that. So whatever the brokers are providing are only Zerodha is providing as of now. But in OpenAlgo, we had enabled for all the 24 plus brokers. We will be going beyond the chatting application, and we'll be going beyond, we'll be building agents very soon. And I'm sure that will be happening in our QuantFlow 2.0 session, right? And I'm sure the future is going to be agentic. So we will be building a simple trading agent, at least. Maybe it may not be a complex trading agent, but definitely we'll be building a complete workflow of building a simple, a basic agent. Definitely will be achieving in one of our live session in QuantFlow. All right. So now coming back to the basics here. Now, how I can build an MCP, right? That's the core idea of today's theme is all about. Now, in order to do an MCP, right, let's go to the Anthropic MCP website. So, Model Context Protocol. Now, many people's question is like, can't the agent directly go and place orders? Can't they directly call the APIs? If you ask me, see, these LLM models are not designed to directly connect with your APIs. These your program can access, your Python program can access APIs, but if any LLM, if they want to query certain things, if they want some, if they have some doubt and they have access to these tools, they know how to make use of these tools. They know when to get the depth. They know when to search the instruments. They know when to get the expiry dates. So I want to say, like, can you tell me the list of timeframes supported by OpenAlgo? I'm going to ask something like that. And also, uh, which is the least time frame, get the today's data, right? So I'm see that I'm giving access, I'm asking a query. It's slightly a complex query. So it has to access the interval first, get the list of interval, check which interval is the lowest interval. Of course, 1 minute is the lowest interval because I'm using Angel. So from the 1 minute, fetch the 1 minute data and then use that 1 minute to query the historical data. So it has to trigger two different tools simultaneously. So who decides that? The MCP client, which in case our Claude client, which is connected to the Claude Opus model, right? Opus model is deciding that when to use which tool. So you see, the first it is getting the interval. It's getting the interval data. So it knows from the interval data. So it's getting the response, right? 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute. All these data is coming over here. From here, it is figuring out that 1 minute is the smallest available time frame. And now it is triggering another tool, get historical data. Of course, I'm sure, whether, I don't know whether it's going to work or not because it's going to be a huge data. Yeah, it is working. You see that it is fetching the complete data. And unfortunately, it says like today is Saturday, market holiday. So it's going and getting the Friday's data now. So think about that. Like, so it's checking that today's date, today's start date and end date is filling today's. This is not today's, right? I don't know why it's checking today's one. 25/1/19. Today's maybe its cutoff date is not right. It's not having idea about today's data. So I think it's have no idea about today's data. Maybe I have to say like, uh, can you cross check today's data? I mean today's date. You are wrong. Maybe I think its cutoff date is 25/1/19. So I think its cutoff date is something wrong over here, right? It's not able to get the current today's date. Or maybe did I time travel? I have no idea. But today's date is 19th 7 2025, right? And it's going to check that it's a Saturday. Again, it's going to get the Friday's data, and now it is getting the Friday's information. Sometimes, right, it is having a cutoff date. So maybe we can ask like, what is your cutoff date? Most of the time its cutoff date could be around like Jan 2025, right? That's a problem here. Sometimes these models, they know what is today's date. Sometimes they're not knowing what is today's date. Maybe let's say I'll open a new chat and then ask like, what is today's date? Maybe it is able to extract, but sometimes it is taking it from its cutoff date. Sometimes it is aware, sometimes it's not aware about the today's date. I mean, doesn't matter. So now, how to build an simple MCP server? If you ask me, I have to write a simple tutorial long time back. MCP server. You can visit this. This is something that we had built back in March 2025 itself, right? And I also tested this in a Claude code as well. But we haven't done extensively. This is something that we had developed. A very simple line of code. This is a simple MCP server. You can see like it's having an MCP. So you have to import MCP using pip install MCP. You will be able to install it. Maybe if in case if you need examples, you go to the model context protocol example. You say like this is your you can find this Python SDK. So here you can find a lot of examples how we can create a simple MCP server, right? So how to install an MCP server, how to install it. So pip install MCP will do that. So you can find a lot of examples here, right? Now, how to build an MCP server? That's the most important question. Let's say I'm going to build a simple MCP server. I'm going to show you a very, very simple MCP server is what I'm going to show. I'll say like OpenAlgo. If you go to the docs of OpenAlgo, so we have a common symbol format, right? So this is a common symbol format. I'll go to the MCP server. I'll go to Claude. Maybe we can use the Claude desktop itself. So I'll go to the Claude desktop. For time being, I'll disable the OpenAlgo because I don't want it to use OpenAlgo. There is no MCP server. All the MCP server are turned off. So if you could see that OpenAlgo is disabled. AMI broker also disabled. No MCP server is enabled over here. So I'm going to say like this is common symbol format for OpenAlgo. So there is a common symbol format. This is a common symbol format. This is a complete common symbol format. I'm going to take the complete common symbol format over here. And then I'm going to say like, this is my common symbol format for OpenAlgo. I had feed it over here, complete documentation. I added to that. And then I'm also going to add the context for the MCP. So which is here's the sample code over here. I'll say like, this is my current MCP. This is my current MCP. Can you add a new feature to get my OpenAlgo symbol? Okay. So then it intelligently go and build another MCP server is what it's going to build. One more tool it's going to build. One or two tools it might going to add, I think. So place order, it's already there. It's already part of it. Doesn't matter. Forget the one. So it's also having codes as well. That these are like older tools. But it's building an another tool over here. See that build OpenAlgo symbol. So here we are passing whether it is equity, future, options. If it is equity, what is the symbol format? What if it is the futures, options, what are the format over here? So if you're not specifying any exchange, it's going to take the exchange as NSE, right? And then Exchange could be like NSE, BSE, MCX, or it could be anything. It also has some examples as well how to pass. So all these instructions will be provided to the all these all these instructions are provided to the MCP client. MCP client knows about that. There is something called equities. There's something called futures, options. How to query it. Is there a way it is asking for index? That's what we need to know. I think index also it has been added over here. See that NSE index? It's added. And NSE indices and BSE indices also there, right? So now if I'm going to copy this, I'm going to copy only these tools over here, right? Say get exchange codes. I'm having an separate tool for it. And then I'm going to have another tool called get index symbols. There's two more tools. And then what else? What are another tool that we are having? We're having like parse OpenAlgo symbol, and then build OpenAlgo symbol. Total 4 tools it had built, right? So new tool to build OpenAlgo symbols. I'm going to copy this, copy all the tools up to get index symbol, get exchange codes, up to here. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to add to my existing. I'm going to add to my existing OpenAlgo server. So it is in here. I'll go to my MCP server. At the end, I'm going to add more tools to it. Right? So here are some of the utility tools it is having. Along with that, I'm going to add some more tools over here. Okay. A few more tools I had added. I think 4 or 5 tools we would have added, I think. So once it is added, again, I'm going to close our Claude desktop. I'm going to close it. And I'm going to restart again. So obviously, I have to kill from the task manager. So I'll go to the task manager, right click, end task. That will be shutting down Claude code complete. I mean, Claude desktop completely. And then I'm going to use an Claude. So here is our Claude. It's saying like some issue with the code, I think. What did I miss? I think I would have missed something. That's what I would have missed. Maybe some return value I would have missed over here. Let me check what did I missed. So here is where we built the Claude code. Or maybe some import I could have missed. Some of the date time, literal, those things I would have missed. Let me go to my code and let me check date and time and typing optional and literal. I think literal I could have missed here probably. And then I'll come to the end. I'll ensure that I'm copying it properly, all the MCP tools. From here till the end, including the return value. Yeah, we paste it. Save. Maybe if I try, it should be working fine. Let me again close Claude code because I should not get any errors over here. I'll also ensure that I'm restarting my OpenAlgo as well. Okay, OpenAlgo got restarted. And now I'm going to go to the, so where do we going to go? We're going to go to the task manager, kill the Claude code, kill the Claude desktop. Right click, end task. I'll go to Claude desktop again. So will the Claude desktop, will it be working for everyone? If you ask me, absolutely yes. It will be working for even if you are in a free plan also, you can try it out. Maybe there'll be some serious limitations will be there, at least some 5 to 10 queries. Definitely you should be able to make, I believe, every day or every 5 hours once. So now if you go to the, I don't get any errors first of all, which means the MCP server is working fine. If in case, if there is any issue with the configuration or if there is any issue with your Python code, there'll be a small pop-up error that you're gonna get. So right now everything is fine. We'll go to the search tool and under OpenAlgo, I'm having only four. Why I'm having only four? I'm enable all the tools. I'm sure like we'll be having 28 tools. Means 4 plus 24, we are having total 28 tools is what we are having over here. Now I can ask, what I'm gonna ask directly what is the symbol for Nifty. I mean, I can ask like get the list of indices in OpenAlgo. So I'm giving a knowledge, the MCP server also having the knowledge as well. So it's triggering the get list index symbols. The get index symbols function is over here. Get index symbols. So get index symbol, it's calling directly the function and it's going to get all the NSE and BSE indices. And maybe it also get the exchange also, NSE, BSE exchange also. As you can see, it got all the values. It's not triggering to OpenAlgo, but it's a private knowledge we are keeping only at the MCP server side itself. So it's getting all these knowledge from here. We're not triggering anything to OpenAlgo yet, right? So Nifty, Next 50, Fin Nifty, all those things we are able to get over. Now I can easily get like, can you get the India VIX? I mean, I haven't said exclusively, but when I say get the India VIX, maybe I am thinking that I'm asking for a quote. It's brilliant enough to get the quotes. So means like how I was, I mean, I was not even aware that I want to get the quote of India VIX. I'm just saying like get the India VIX means maybe the human is asking about at a human level, get the India VIX means get the India VIX quote. Based on the available tool, it's trying to understand that. It's trying to get the quote of India VIX. Exchange is not NSC, it is NSC underscore index. So it is searching with India VIX, or it could be trying to search with the VIX. It's not able to find. That's pretty interesting. Oh, okay. It's not in the exchange NSC. But it knows that it's from NSC index. I don't know, somehow still adding that it's not working. So index is the exchange. It's trying to check in a wrong exchange. Maybe it is guessing. If I give the NSC underscore as the exchange, maybe it should be able to guess now. It should be able to get the data. But even after I'm adding the correct tool, it is not able to figure it out. So sometimes MCP is also making a little bit of mistakes as well. So you have to be very careful what we are building, or you have to find, you have to ensure that you have to give some instruction saying that if in case you want any code, you should be using it from the indices, or you can say, you can ask like belongs to which exchange. I don't know whether it should be able to search or not. And maybe now it is now it knows that NSE underscore index because I had a previous conversation. Maybe if I ask a separate thread, it might struggle. Let me check. It doesn't has. Would you like to know more about this index or how to trade it using the OpenAlgo API? It's not triggering any tools over here. Maybe it doesn't know that it has to trigger a tool or it is not required. Maybe it has some private knowledge. I want to say like from the OpenAlgo, can you check which exchange it belongs? Maybe the prompt I have to give it in a different manner. It's checking the symbol, it's checking the NSE. Of course, it is not in the NSE. It's also asking a query, but exchange it is using again NSE. It's struggling. Basically, it's struggling. It doesn't know. It's still not able to figure out. A lot of other tools are also there. It is not able to figure it out because it has to use NSE underscore index. I don't know why it is not able to figure out NSE underscore index. Let me check. Because basically it is failing in the search instruments only. Maybe I have to fine tune the search instruments. Let's go to like search instruments. So in the search instrument, maybe there is not much of an enough details are there. I can say now what I'm going to say is like, this is my MCP tool to search, and the common index symbols are, uh, common index symbols are, what are the common index symbols? Let's say like we'll go to docs and then go to symbol format. This is something I have to include it as part of it, right? Common symbol index format are. So I want to say like you're struggling to get the right index. In that case, how I should build an MCP. I'm asking LLM itself to build a better MCP so that next time when I ask the right question, it should be able to build the right MCP. So it is helping me how I should enhance it. So here it is also giving the knowledge of if the exchange is uppercase, it's going to check for NSE. It's going to check whether the instrument type belong to index. If it is belong to index, right? So it's also checking like exchange to search in NSE, BSE, NSE index, BSE index, etc. Where instrument type is optional, it's also having an option called index also. So means it knows that if it is an, say if I'm passing sensex, it knows that it is index, so it is going to check with index. So it's going to have one more argument. It's going to send index. So if it is index, right? If the type is index, then it's going to get, if it thinks that NS Nifty is belong to NSE, then it's going to retrieve the NSE underscore index. Like that way, it is going to fetch the right exchange, I would believe. So it is also having and get symbol info as well and get index symbols. So it's also having all those things. Maybe I'll do one thing. I'll copy this and then I'm going to discard the old MCP. I'm going to add this new MCP over here. So we'll go to the code. Whatever the previous code, we have built, I'm going to discard it. I think this search tool alone, I'm going to replace it with few more MCPs like get index symbols and also get symbol info. So get the index symbol have a pretty good idea about how to get the index symbols. So for the exchange code and also the BAC underscore exchange. So it knows what are the common exchange, common symbols now. Maybe let's try now. It should be able to work properly. So because we asked LLM itself how we can fix it. So it knows where it struggled. So I ask it to code in a proper manner. So this is what we had coded. Let's close the MCP and then I'm going to ask the same question. I close the Claude as well. And probably we can say like we can call that as an enhanced version of it if it works. So I want to ask like, can you get the India VIX quote? So it should figure out the right exchange now, first of all. It should search. When it's searching, it should try to fetch the, maybe first let me check is all the things I enabled 25. Yeah, I think it's enabled. It's also triggering the search instruments also. So you see that this time it is able to figure out NSE underscore index. It's able to get the response and it is able to get the code. First, it is trying to get the code with the NSE and India VIX. So it failed. So it is trying to search. When it is searching, it knows that it should pass the message. It should pass the index. It is passing and getting the India VIX, and now it is able to get the India VIX, which means this is fixed version. This could now able to get. Maybe I can ask like now, can you get the Sensex boards? Now it should intelligently able to get it from BSE underscore index. It's able to get that because already in the previous it had some response. It knows that NSE index and BSE index are the exchanges. Now it is intelligently able to directly it's able to check with the BSE index. This time it's not making any mistakes. Directly it is fetching it from there, which means this is a fix. So we can say like we can say like it's a fix for search symbol to include NSE underscore index and BSE underscore index, and also common symbols, common index symbols. It's going to be fixed for MCP server to search symbol to include NSE index, BSE index as well. Earlier it was struggling. So whenever it was struggling, we have to figure out that what is going wrong, why it is not able to figure it out. So we asked Claude to fix itself, right? So that's what it had done over here. And not just that, we're going to add two more new functions, which recently we had enabled. So probably if you would have seen that recently in our documentation, I mean, in fact, we also have our MCP documentation as well. What is MCP, what it does, everything it's there. Now, what we are going to do here is, recently I have to update a new version 1. In that, if you go to accounts, so we have like analyzer status and analyzer toggle. These are two things. So two functionalities we had added over here. This will be toggling. You'll be able to get the current analyzer status, whether analyzer status is in live or in analyzer mode. You'll be able to get to know. You can also toggle by setting the value. If you're going to set the mode as true, it is going to automatically change to analyzer mode. Means any order that you're going to pass, it will be sending in analyzer account, not in real account. If again you're going to toggle, you will be switching back to the live mode. So at any given point in time, you will be in one mode only, either analyzer mode or live mode. It's very simple, right? So if you want to programmatically toggle, yes, now we have a functionality, and now we also have a Python code also. So we have a Python code as well. So this is a Python code. So I think here it is, analyzer status. You can find this examples over here. Now what I'm going to do is like, I'm just going to copy this analyzer status and analyzer toggle example. I go to my previous MCP. So here is this is our MCP, right? I'm going to say like also provide the MCP tools only for analyzer status and analyzer toggle. So this is the instruction I'm giving over here. So this is a Python code instruction. It should be intelligent enough to add to the MCP tool, by the way. So it's now it is able to get the analyzer status and also analyzer mode. So I'm going to add two more status over here, right? So analyzer toggle and also analyzer tool as well. So these two tools will be giving you extra hands so that you can get what is the, you can also query what is the analyzer status. So which I'm going to add it to my current MCP server. At the end, I'm going to add it. I'm going to add two more MCP server over here. Right? I'm going to save this. First, I want to test it out. If the testing is working fine, then we will be releasing it to everyone. So right click, I'll go to Task Manager. From here, I'll go to Claude. right click and then end task. And I'm going to restart the Claude over here. So that's what I'm saying. Like the possibilities are endless. So the creativity, what kind of creativity, what you want to build, basically you can build whatever you want to build as long as you know how to build, right? So coding part, which is like secondary, I would say. Coding is not going to be a challenging thing going forward. How you can simulate your creativity, that is where you have to be worrying about how I'm going to build things. Building things you can build always. You, if you know how to build with a simple prompt, you'll be able to build. So I'll first let me check. So here now 27 tools. Earlier it was 25. Two more tools got added. So I want to say like, what is the analyzer status? What is the analyzer status? I want to ask. So it should trigger the analyzer status. Maybe first time if it's going to trigger, it's going to do a pop-up. So if I'm going to say always allow, next time it's not going to ask you at all. So it's going to check the analyzer status. Right now analyzer status is live. So it's going to say like a mode is live, not in analyzer mode or not in simulator mode. It's also having some two logs are there. That is what it's getting over here. So analyzer mode is disabled. I think this two logs is like it's from analyzer logs, I believe. It's not from the live logs, it's from the analyzer logs. Maybe I have to remove that total logs. But anyways, we'll keep it for time being because I'm not going to use it anyways. But at times it could be misleading. So we'll later on figure out whether to keep it or not. Now, if you go and check in OpenAlgo, I'll go to OpenAlgo, log in, and then I'm going to check like we are in a live mode over here. I'm going to change this to, even if I refresh the page, the live mode is going to stay. Now, what I'm going to do is like from Claude, I'm going to say like, can you toggle to? Can you toggle to analyzer mode? I'm just making a natural conversation over here. When I'm going to make the natural conversation, it's going to toggle it. So it's going to set the value as true. Once it is set true, right? It giving a confirmation here. So it's switched to analyzer mode. So now if you could see that, if I go to analyzer, yeah, it's already got toggled over here. Maybe I can show you side by side. It will be very easy for you to understand. I want to say like, can you toggle again? Toggle again. So it should toggle again back to live mode. It is toggled, but let's say like if I refresh the page, it should say that you should be seeing like a live mode over here. And you can also query the status, like get the status again. You don't need to explain what status. The LLM know the context. It knows that you are querying about current analyzer mode. So it knows what arguments it has to pass because it knows the complete arguments about the MCP server. It says like we are in a live mode now, right? So yeah, the testing is working fine. So I'm gonna roll this out. So I'm gonna say like feature added analyzer mode to MCP server. So now it will be rolled out to everybody. You can do a git pull and then you can update it. Now we have the complete fix for MCP is available right now. So it has extended capabilities. You can do whatever you want. You want to add more, you can add more to your MCPs, right? So you think I want this, I want that. You don't need to ask me. You just ask Claude code and that's going to give it to you, right? The genie is there. You can go and ask the question and your wish will be granted. So you guys are clear about what we had spoken so far? Any doubts? If you're clear, please type clear so that I'll get a fair idea that I'm not talking alone at least. Okay, great. I think this is going to be the future of the coding itself, right? Practically coding is gone here. So you don't need to worry about, oh, MCP is like something rocket science, right? I mean, literally till to date, I don't know how many brokers are attempting to do, but Zerodha had done it. Hats off to it. But MCP is not a rocket science, by the way. It's gonna change the context. It's going to change the complete field itself. Now you can also connect with your own. Let's say if I'm going to use a Windsurf over here. So here is Windsurf. In Windsurf also, you can connect your MCP servers as well. So I'm going to do that. Let it warm up. So here in the Windsurf, if you go here, you will be finding a tool here. So here is the MCP server tool. Right now, there is no tool over here. You can click on configure. And so I'm going to click on, for timing, I already connected OpenAlgo, but it's with different virtual environment, different application. I'm going to change this. Yeah, I think I already connected, I think. It's already connected. But maybe the API key, I may have to get the right API key. Copy it. Paste the API key. And I'm going to close this. Refresh. Ensure that OpenAlgo is enabled now. Refresh it. So it should have more tools. Or maybe the configuration path is still not right. I think it's not OpenAlgo-MCP. What is the path? So it's like OpenAlgo-Kiro. Kiro. This is where my MCP is right now running. It's also running in various OpenAlgo I had installed for testing purpose. Right now, this OpenAlgo MCP server is what running over here. So close it. And you don't need to restart the application. Here itself, they had given a refresh facility. So now you see that it says like 27 tools. Now we can also ask the same query over here, get the funds. So it knows that it is going to use Claude Sonnet, right? It is also agentic as well. And it knows which tool to trigger and it's getting the data from here. Whatever we had done in Claude, when we are going to use a Claude Desktop acted like an MCP client. Whereas here, when I'm going to use a Windsurf is now going to be my MCP client. Now, as I said, MCP client, not necessarily it has to be only your coding editor or Claude Desktop. It could be your own application also. So that is what we had to build this one. Again, which is already available in OpenAlgo. For the people who don't know about it, you can always go to docs.openalgo.in. From here, you can go to the mini FOSS universe, where you can find all the codes are kept open source. So there is an MCP context protocol, agent in integration. This is our own application, complete MCP. This itself going to act like a client itself. So here I'm configured the client itself. A client also a Python code over here, where I can type the prompt and then I can enter. And we also have an MCP server as well. Now this MCP server, which is using SSE, as you can see, like if you scroll down, it's going to use something called SSE over here. I believe it is no, here also we're using STDIO. STDIO also using, I think SSE also we're using here. Yeah, here it is, you can see that SSE. So that's SSE here. Maybe I'll, but in order to use this, right, here I'm going to show you how you can use with Chat GPT, right? So let me download this MCP here, first of all. But when we had done this MCP, I think when the MCP released 3 months back, even before Zerodha had implemented, we have to implement this. And let me copy this. We'll go back in the same place where our OpenAlgo is running, right? I'm gonna add one more. Come on. Okay, doesn't matter. I think I'm inside the OpenAlgo folder. Maybe I use something different editor. For timing, I'll not confuse it. So let's say I'm going to open an file open folder. I created a new folder here. Inside my D drive, I'll say like chat GPT hyphen MCP, right? Terminal. This is the old one, not an updated one. So here I'll clone the application here. So git clone. Then I'm going to paste it, enter. So here we'll be having the server also, we are having the client also, right? So server also we have to start, client also we have to start. And before that, we have to do some little configuration we have to make over here. There's an env file is there. So we have to copy the .env file. Just let me check. So first I'll get into the OpenAlgo MCP folder. And then I want to copy the .env.example file into a .env file. Now this .env file, here I have to keep my OpenAlgo key and also my MCP server port. Let's say MCP server port, I'm going to run at port 8000, which is a fast API application, by the way. And then we're going to use the SSC mode, not STDIO. SSC is like kind of a remote server. Something like what Zerodha server is providing. Likewise, OpenAlgo, we are having our own server. It's a local server, by the way. That will be acting like an MCP server. And then we'll be having our own OpenAI API key, ChatGPT API key. We're going to use a GPT-4o model or any model that you want to use. If you want GPT 4.1, you can use GPT-4o mini. You want to use, you can use it. Right. So first we'll configure the OpenAlgo API key. So copy the OpenAlgo key where it is running. Ensure that OpenAlgo is running. Yeah. Copy and paste it over here. Right. And then what else? So next one is like I have to get the OpenAI API key. Now I'm not going to show you that, but I'm going to add it. But for time being, first let me add it and then I'll show a different page. I'll go to OpenAI, login, ChatGPT. I mean, not ChatGPT. I'll go to OpenAI. Come on. OpenAI, login, API platform. So here, if you go, you can go to your profile. So from the profile, you can go and get the API keys and you can create a new key. I'm going to say like test OpenAlgo. Select a default project from here and then create the key. So that will be creating the key. Of course, not all complete key is not visible. Just copy it, done. And now I'm going to add it to my configuration. Let me add it and then I'll show you. I mean, I'm not going to show you, by the way, but I had added it, right? You have to trust me that I had added it. Yeah. So here is the some part of the code. You can see it like I had add the keys over here, right? So some more, I had added the keys. Like the key is very lengthier, so doesn't mind, but I had added the keys. So now we have to go and start the client application and also the server application. So I'm going to need two different terminals. What I am going to need. I'm going to close the env file. I think env configuration has been done. So GPT model, ChatGPT model, or ChatGPT API key. And we are using remote MCP. SSE is what you are using. OpenAlgo host is running at port 5000. And the OpenAlgo API key also we had added over here, right? Save it, close the env file. And now get into the server first. And then we have to run the server. So how to run the server? So you can also get the instructions from the GitHub documentation itself. If you go to the GitHub documentation, that's the GitHub. So let me close this. Yeah, so here is the MCP server. And get into the MCP server over here. And then, I mean, ensure that you're also having a virtual environment as well. We also have to install the libraries also, right? I think the libraries are available over here. So there is a library available here. I'm going to create a virtual environment. So I'm going to use Python -m VNV, a traditional way of creating a virtual environment, bit slower, but it's fine. For time being, we have to live with that. Script / activate. So we are inside the virtual environment. I'm gonna install the library pip install requirement, -r requirement dot text. In fact, you can see like HTTPX SSE. So that's one of the dependency library which is going to bring the SSE for it. And we're also going to use an Agno for building an agent. This is more of an agentic framework which uses Agno, and it also uses SSE and the fast API and all those things. So now I want to get into the server, and then I have to activate the server, right? So here is Python server.py that's going to run the MCP server. So SSE is running. You can see that SSE is running here. And I'm also going to launch a new terminal. I have to get into OpenAlgo MCP, activate the virtual environment, and I'm going to get into the client. Now I'm going to run the client over here. So client is having its own trading underscore agent.py. And this agent is created using Agno, which is going to behave like an MCP client, by the way. So I'm going to say like Python trading underscore agent.py. Oh, come on, I have to install pip install AI. I forgot to do that. Maybe I have to update the library. Now it can be anything. You can connect with local models. You can connect with Llama models. You can connect with Grok, or you can connect with DeepSeek. You can basically interact with anything. But this code is configured specifically for OpenAI. But you can modify the code and you can interact with the way which LLM that you want. You can interact with that. Let me also do a pip freeze as well, because I think I missed including OpenAI. I add the requirement.text. Right, that should be updating the requirement.text file. Right. Does it include OpenAI? That's what my context is. Where is OpenAI? I think it is updated the wrong one. I think maybe I'll discard it. I'll get back. So this requirement file is what I need to add, because a lot of requirement files are there. I better delete the other requirement files. We don't need these requirement files, because it leads to confusion. So the requirement files, what I need is from here, right? So other two requirement file, I had deleted it. Only the server one, main one, I'm just maintaining it. I think that should be enough. So say like updated requirements text, because this one includes Open AI. And now I'm gonna go to the client, and then I'm gonna run the trading agent. So basically, it is connecting to attempting to MCP server at localhost SSE. I think the server is running, right? I think server is running. Let me try again. Okay, server is running at port 8000. Maybe at the port 8000, right? I would have changed it. Better, I'll go to ENV. I think it's supposed to run at 8001. Mistakenly, I changed it to 8000. So maybe the server might be running at port 8001, I believe. I'll break again. I'll run the server. Because initially the configuration was 8001. I tried to change it to 8000. Maybe that's my mistake. Doesn't matter. Close it out. It should be connecting. Yeah, got connected. Now I can ask a query over here. So it's a plain vanilla command line interface, but It can be a web application also, your own web application, which will be interacting with the OpenAlgo. Like it's up to you how you want to do it, right? Or it can be your own autonomous agent also. The point here is you can build an autonomous agent. In fact, this itself an agent. The agent itself acting like an MCP client over here, right? And it is not using Claude. Instead, it is using OpenAI API as an LLM model. So I can ask a query like, what are the funds? I mean, get the funds. This is a prompt I want to give. So assistant should be fetching it. There's an issue with the API key. I'm sure I was setting the right API key. Did I? Maybe I'll check whether, hi, how are you? At least I'm getting the right response from the LLM. Let me check. Yeah, it says like, hello, I am ready here. I'm ready to assist with your trading needs, how I can help you, which means OpenAlgo, maybe there could be some configuration issues with the OpenAlgo, or maybe OpenAlgo is not running. Let me check. Here is OpenAlgo, which is running. Yes. But how about OpenAlgo API key? This is the key. It's the same key. Am I missing something else? It says invalid OpenAlgo API key. I mean, it's able to connect with OpenAlgo, but somehow it's not connect. It's able to talk to the OpenAlgo. Let me check. Let me restart the client. I mean, server and check. I'll go to CD OpenAlgo, activate the virtual environment, and then go to server, and then run the OpenAlgo MCP, which is server.py. That should be working fine. Say successfully initiated. The API key, I think it's ending with something like E909. I think some issue with the API key issue, I believe. Maybe is there any other .env file it is referring? Some issue with the API key, I believe. So that's why it is not able to initiate. Maybe some issue with the environmental variable. I need some support from Claude or somebody. So I want to say like, I want to check my environmental variable in Windows. Okay, let's see PowerShell. Maybe this should work. First, let me check is my API key is correct or not. That's what I want to check it out. Paste it. You see that it's having a wrong API key. This is not the API key which I am having it. It should take it from a .env file, but somehow it's messing up with some other keys. Maybe I'll try to delete it. Maybe I want to delete it. Check. So there's no OpenAlgo API key. I think now it should be fetching from the .env file. Okay. And I'm gonna check like, hi, are you connected? I'm gonna check whether it is connected or not. Yes, it is connected. So I'm gonna ask like, get me the funds. If everything goes fine, it should be able to get. It should be able to query the OpenAlgo and it should be getting the query context. Still, I'm yet to get a response from the assistant. Still slow, but I don't know what is happening in the background. Still got stuck here. Maybe I'll restart. Get the funds. That's what the query is. Check, are we getting, yeah, so it's getting the funds from the OpenAlgo, and yeah, it's also getting the funds as well. Maybe some restart issue. I'll say like, can you get the quote of Reliance? Same thing, we'll be able to extract it over here as well. So MCP client queries the MCP server, and MCP server have access to the tools. But the only difference is like we are not using stdio, we are using SSE over here, right? So that way we are able to get the data, but using a different LLM model. So now let me tell you what we had used over here. If you go to draw.marketcalls.in, this MCP client, right? This is our agent. In fact, it is our agent, and the LLM model, what we had used is not Claude desktop. It is our own OpenAI API key, which is like we are using GPT-4o model, GPT-4o model here. That's what we are using. It's our own private key. So means it could be our own external application also. So not just an ready-made clients or something like that. It can be your own thing. So now going forward, how the automation industry is going to evolve is maybe we can, let's say I'm a human. I'll be seeing the charts. So whatever I'm seeing, I can give the access of chart access. I can give it to the agent. Agent can monitor the charts. Agent can monitor the data. Agent can monitor your funds. So whatever you do manual monitoring, now the agents can do. So basically, you are likely to build a human. Uh, I mean, basically, it's an agent which is gonna take the actions like the humans are gonna take. I'm sure you're gonna get the context what I'm trying to explain here, right? I mean, this is not a full-fledged strategy as such, but I'm no, we are getting somewhere there, right? This is what we will be trying to implement over here. So you got the context. So same MCP server, maybe this MCP server has a different tool because it's a pretty old one, has been created 3 months back. A lot of new APIs had upgraded. So I had to refresh this. And yeah, so the same, it also connects with it also interacts with the OpenAlgo API as well, but it uses a different LLM model. Maybe if you're having local model like Gemma, you can also connect with Gemma also. So in that case, you can replace your OpenAI with Gemma. Recently, people are talking about Kimi K2, Gemma or DeepSeek or Kimi K2. You can also connect with open source models also. Such kind of facilities are already available at Agno. So we're using Agno, right? From agno.com. Agno is like kind of an agentic framework where you can build your own agents, which can do the basically it is like replacing the humans. I mean, in other terms, humans are the one who is going to orchestrate the agent. In this case, humans are orchestrating it, but still an agent can be autonomously functioning also without any human intervention. That is also possible, but a human in the loop is always highly recommended because yeah. How we can change OpenAI instead of Llama or MCP. So maybe you have to go and check probably the documentation of Agno. Go to the docs, you'll be finding agents, right? So here you'll be finding different models. They might be supporting various models. Mm, like models. So like I had connected OpenAI. OpenAI is what I have to. This is like OpenAI, like OpenAI. OpenAI. Where is OpenAI? Yeah, here. So right now it supports only OpenAI. Maybe you might be finding in this code this line. So you have to change this. Let's say you want to connect with DeepSeek. So you're having DeepSeek API key, or you're having Grok. Grok is free to try. Grok hosts a lot of models like Llama models. Maybe for trying purpose you can try it out, but for commercial grade, I don't think Grok is not a free plan. You don't build a commercial grade. You have to rely on some paid plans of Grok. You have to use, so you have to replace it with Grok over here, and you have to install the Python library. Pip install Grok is what you have to do. This Grok is different. This is not Elon Musk Grok. Elon Musk is like GROK. This is like GROQ, right? So they host open source models. They are like kind of an inferencing engine. And then we have like DeepSeek. If you are directly having an API key from DeepSeek, you can use it. If you're having NVIDIA models or any of these models, right? So there are a lot of models are there, like even XAI's Grok. If you are having Grok API key, if you are having, this is from Elon Musk Grok API key. There you can go and install the pip install XAI, and then you can say what model you want to use, and you can connect with Grok also. So any LLMs you can basically you can connect, right? Maybe if you are using local LLM, maybe you are using some LM Studio for local LLM, or maybe you are using Olama. Do they support Olama also? Yeah, they should support Olama. So if you are using Olama and you are running any local models, let's say you are hosting Google Gemma, then you can also use Google Gemma local models, because local model is like there is no cost to that. If I'm going to use API key, I have to pay to the OpenAI also for every query the agent is going to make. Basically, every call the LLM is going to call, it will be chargeable, right? So you are also aware about the pricing if you're going to use the any paid models. Free models in the sense, yeah, you can use Olama. Some basic RTX card is recommended, some graphics card. So at least some 3060 or 4060 or something. Some pretty basic cards should do, and then you can install Google Gemma using Olama or LM Studio. From Olama, you can just attach Olama and install your local model. Let's say Google Gemma, find the model name, and any prompt, it will be locally itself processed. So long term, if you are thinking about it from a cost point of view, definitely you should use Gemma kind of models. Or if in case if you are feeling like cost is not a worry, I'm going to go and experiment. It's easy to integrate with any of these models. Like even in Perplexity, Open Router. Again, Open Router provides a lot of free API credits. You can also go and try with a lot of free APIs as well. So you can go and check it out. Open Router also similar to Grok. They also provide inferencing engine. So they provide some free access to free models as well. But problem with the Open Router is like many times you'll be rate limited. So serious rate limiting you'll be experiencing in Open Router and Grok. So beware of it. If you don't use it for production, for testing purpose, Grok and Open Router should be fine. But local hosting, definitely it is recommended to use Olama or LM Studio, right? I guess that answers the question. So anything else that we should talk about it? I think that should be an extensive session on MCP server. So maybe if in case you are curious to learn more about it, um, where I would recommend is like you can go to learn.marketcalls.in, can go to courses. So here we have like QuantFlow, which is starting from July. I think first week of July, from Monday onwards, 7 to 9, every day we'll be having 2 hours of session. Sometime it could be extended to 3 hours also. So Patel is asking what is Agno? Agno is like kind of an agentic framework, right? So here you'll be having access to 5 different modules. One of the module is I can go and tell you, like if you go to Python, you can get the complete detailed courses, not under the package. Under the package, you will not be getting a complete course in the details, but you can get it from here. So OneFlow, I think here you can find the complete details about it, right? So I had said like 12 modules, but last time we had ended up with 18 modules, almost 32 days of sessions. Last time I'll show you like what are the things that we had done. So close to close, I think we have to done almost 60 plus hours of learning content. I mean, basically there'll be 74 hours, almost 75 hours of learning content it is. So we had to do like almost 17 modules close to close. We had done building an Telegram bot, machine learning basics, WebSockets, how to play with the WebSockets, part reading strategies, and DuckDB and SQL commands, how to play with that, and then building in web applications, right? So web application alone extended for like some 4 different sessions, and I think in one of our session is where we have to build something called Historify. This is where we had built an Historify, which is already kept open source. So something very interesting we are building about OpenAlgo. We will keep it open source. So this Historify, right? There is a Historify It is like 15,000 lines of code. We kept it open source, which we had done in 2 sessions. Like I think module 12 is where we have to build this. So how we had built the complete details, you can able to get over there as well. You also get access to our previous OpenAlgo sessions also, like 75 plus hours of live July edition and also the previous editions as well. And I don't like to repeat my old sessions as well. Some things, some basics we cannot do new stuff every time, but something like Historify. Last time we had built Historify. Maybe this time we might be building live something cool and different, right? Not necessarily it has to relate to OpenAlgo, but it could be anything. It could be related to something different. And initial basics, the first 4 sessions will be, you might think it is Python fundamentals. Maybe if you are basics, if you are really good in Python also, definitely it is recommended to go with that, because we have our own principles on AI and LLM fundamentals. So side by side from day 2 onwards, you will be seeing that we'll be teaching Python along with the AI and LLMs along with that side by side. So even when we are handling with the NumPy Pandas data frame, we will be doing the manual coding also, and we will be doing the side by side. We'll also doing the LLM usage also. We'll be start using LLMs from module 2 onwards, right? And module 3 onwards, we'll be slightly injecting more LLM based content. And as we go forward, right, we'll be getting a lot of nuances about broker APIs, trading automations, and along with that, side by side, we'll be start using LLMs heavily. So it's not a complete Python session, I would say. Like it's kind of a fusion between Python and LLM models. So there are many times we'll go and use LLMs wherever it is required. So, but very basics, we'll be doing the manual coding. Pandas and NumPy also, mostly it is manual coding only, but there are certain examples. If I want to show some simple example, I'll go with that. But once we are getting more and more advanced modules, we will be relying on LLM modules like we rely on GPS these days, right? So that's what the course content is. All right, so let me pass here and I say thank you for coming by and attending the session. Let me know if you have any questions. So we can have 2 more questions before calling it a day. I'm sure today's session on the MCP client and the MCP server is very much comprehensive. Just go back and explore MCP server, explore MCP client, explore Agno AGI. These are pretty solid stuff, and at least I believe that that's going to be the future. All right, so thank you once again for coming by, and see you in yet another session. Thank you. Bye bye.